So, CinematicCritic. I know about the Change the Channel movement. I kind of did my research, and nonetheless, despite it all, I have actually watched a lot of CinematicCritic videos since the Change the Channel movement began. Most recently, I watched a review of The Wall. I thought maybe it was going to be a musical review in the veins of Les Miserables. I liked the Les Miserables review. Wasn't a big fan of the Phantom of the Opera review, but I like it when he does musical reviews. And I was like, maybe the Wall review will be good. Maybe it'll be like Les Miserables. Or even Moulin Rouge, which I thought was okay. Nope. Now, full disclosure, I had never actually seen The Wall, nor had I ever listened to the music. The only song from the Wall album I had listened to was, yes, Brick in the Wall Part 2. I didn't even know it was a part 2 of a 3-part song. CinematicCritic, two good things came from his review. One, I listened to the actual Wall soundtrack. And two, I found out about this amazing YouTuber named Fenna, and I know some people haven't actually been like the contest, but I think that the people who didn't like Fenna's creatures is because they don't belong in the Wall review. They don't. Like, I get it. I get the original film had like this weird thing at the end, but these creatures they have no connection to the story. They don't belong there, except for Lucy Lacemaker shows up a couple of times in the reviews, but before the end. But, if you go see Fenna's channel, Fenneh, all of these characters actually belong in a series called Satellite City. And if you're into if you're into like dark anime like I am, I'm a giant anime fan. I'll watch really any anime, almost any anime, and I can understand some of the darker ones. So going to watch Satellite City if you're a fan of that, you can actually get a kick out of it, out of these creatures, and it is weird. It's very weird, but the CinematicCritic review of The Wall made me want to go see them, and they do belong there in the Satellite City, so why are they in the Wall review? Like, thankfully, I feel for Fenna, because I feel like this is gonna maybe prevent people from going to watch Fenna's channel, from going to watch Satellite City, because they've seen these creatures somewhere that they don't belong, these CGI monstrosities, as some people have been calling them. But Fenna is a single YouTuber doing this all on his own. That's amazing. And I've heard many people calling the trial the best part of the review. It seems to be like half and half. And I seem to agree that it's the best part of the review because it's not the CinematicCritic. It's Fenna. So I would highly recommend you go watch Satellite City on Fenna's channel. You can breeze through the whole thing that's up right now. There's still plenty more to come, but you can go through the whole thing in a matter of like an hour. I already did it, and I just want more. I know that he just redesigned Lucy Lacemaker, and I'm excited to see the next episode. The episodes are very short. But what more about the CinematicCritic's review is I've heard some of the real criticisms, like he names one of the songs "So Long Oscar Bait Song," when in reality it doesn't even qualify for an Oscar, I guess. I don't know really how that works. He makes a joke like Brick in the Wall Part 2. He makes a joke, LOL, school sucks. That doesn't mean much at all. The one big issue that everyone is calling out, and now me having heard the Wall album, at least. I haven't seen the video yet, but having to have heard the album and really listening closely, I can tell you it's true. CinematicCritic missed the whole purpose of the Wall. He was like, oh, Pink is being too pretentious. World War II references, haha. Ha ha! It's a World War II reference. A lot of people had hard times in World War II. And, I mean... And then I do understand people's thing called Bring the Runtime. He does a song called... It's on the album, it's like Bring the Boys Home. And he calls it Bring the Runtime Down. This coming from a 40-something minute review that he did. Now, I know that he has done long reviews before, especially for musicals. I think that the Les Miserables review was 50 minutes, but that was a good 50-minute review. This 40-minute review is hit or miss. Now, I don't hate the review. I don't. I'm one of the people that actually thought it had some good moments. But it's not a review. That I do agree with. I do agree that it is not really a review. He calls it a love letter. No, it's not a love letter either. Sorry, CinematicCritic, but it's true what everyone's saying. It's a parody. And it's not even a great parody. Now having this past Saturday, so a couple of days ago, finally I've listened to the full album. Even if you gave me the CinematicCritic album for free, it's not funny. That's the thing about parody. Parodies have to be funny. That's why I had a problem with Weird Al Yankovic's album, Fun. Mandatory Fun. None of the songs were funny. None of the mandatory songs on Mandatory Fun were funny. Whereas his other songs have been so hilarious. I was so disappointed with the Mandatory Fun album by Weird Al that I actually went back and purchased the Best Of album, which meant that for the first time ever I was listening to all those older songs like I actually had Yoda already, but like the Star Wars parody, I don't remember what he called it. It's the one that's a parody of, instead of "This'll be the day that I die," he goes, "Soon I'm gonna be a Jedi." It's called The Saga Begins. I remember it's called The Saga Begins because my friend originally asked me for it, and I accidentally got a rap song called The Saga Begins, not realizing he wanted a Weird Al song. I was like, why does he want this song on the album? There was 14 Weird Al songs and a rap song called The Saga Begins. Turns out he actually wanted The Saga Begins, the Weird Al version. But, that's funny. That's funny parody. Weird Al is a great use of parody. Most of his songs are funny. I don't know what happened with Mandatory Fun, but even his tour wasn't playing songs from the Mandatory Fun album. He was doing his best songs. Jurassic Park parody of whatever. So even as a parody, this fails because it's not funny. The whole time I was like, I didn't know what was going on, and the only part I enjoyed, as I said, was the ending, which is by Fenna, where CinematicCritic doesn't talk at all. The start of what's known as side 2 in this, where I've heard some people, it's been right down the middle. I've heard some people think it's really interesting that the hammers are replaced with phones, and on other cases, not so much. This film is not a review. This review is not a review. And what I'm doing right now is not a review of the film either, though I do plan to do one. I do plan to see the film, and it'll have to be on a time where my parents aren't here because it's a musical film, so I definitely want to play it on my soundbar. What else can I say about this review? After this point in time, I think that the Nostalgia Critic, I am finally losing interest in the Nostalgia Critic. I've heard about the whole Change the Channel movement. This apparently has reignited the problems with the Change the Channel movement, and I just want to say that while I have always been a fan of Nostalgia Critic, I've started to lose interest over the past year, since the Change the Channel movement came out, and now this is easily the poorest quality review that I've seen from Nostalgia Critic, which sucks because I wanted to believe that they would do something to recover, but it seems like they're only going downhill from here. CinematicCritic is something I do for fun, and I think that Nostalgia Critic seems to have forgotten that to do something like this, you have to have fun, things other YouTubers have not yet forgotten. Even Animat, while I disagree completely with his abominable review, something you can see, his YouTube, by the way, is Electric Dragon 505. I actually issued a challenge. I don't think I'll get it because I'm a small YouTuber, like very small. But I issued a challenge to do a review for him because I'm actually kind of shocked that he didn't like the film. Thought the animation was 10 out of 10, but didn't like the characters in the story. Called it a rip-off of How to Train Your Dragon. Well, yeah, it's made by the same people, but I actually thought it was really good. Abominable. Despite that, unlike with the Nostalgia Critic, I can respect Animat's decision and feeling on why. Critically, I'm not so sure about his decision critically, but I can tell personally that that's just his thought. I can't tell what Nostalgia Critic thinks about this, about the wall. Really. This is the first time where I've seen a Nostalgia Critic review and had to say to myself, that's bad. There have been ones in the past that were just okay, but this was the first time where I've actually had to say to myself, putting aside the Change the Channel movement for a second, that's bad. That's a bad review. Now, I was never going to bring this up, but I am now, especially here on YouTube. I don't know Doug as a person, but I did meet him once. I do not go to Comic-Cons. Even though I'm a giant anime fan, I do not go to Comic-Cons or anime cons. The ones that, Comic-Cons that focus on anime, whatever they call those. Despite the fact that every March there's a big one up in Boston. Which I honestly might go through. I should have gone last year because my favorite anime, Naruto, they had Naruto's voice actor there. But, like 2 years ago, Nostalgia Critic actually came, and I believe this was right before the Change the Channel movement came out. Nostalgia Critic actually came to the Rhode Island Convention Center. He was the one reason that on one of the 2 days of the Rhode Island Comic Con, I went. I went to try to meet him. By the way, I saw Brent Spiner too from Star Trek Data. Learned a little surprising fact that I didn't know there, that apparently Brent Spiner hated the cat's Spot. Which is really funny if you know that Data, the actor he played, loves Spot. But Brent Spiner hated it. But anyway, Nostalgia Critic was there. I actually got to ask him a question, what the worst movie was that he had ever reviewed. And I didn't know that everyone else unfortunately, everyone else in the room knew that. And Doug was like, say it with me. And everyone in the room said, oh God, I can't remember now. But they all echoed one movie, whatever it was. I don't remember. And then I got a chance to meet him. Yeah, I got a chance to meet him. He was actually packing up on his way out, but my sister was like, oh, he really wanted to meet you. Can I get him to meet you? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yes. And I went up to him. I was kind of starstruck. I won't lie. I didn't know what I knew at the time. about the whole change the channel movement. I just thought he was like, at the time, he was still what I was trying to be with this whole cinematic critic thing. He didn't seem to really care so much, but that could also be because I was so starstruck that I failed to mention to him how I am cinematic critic and how I was very much trying to be like him. Well, now since then, I've actually tried to be my own person. This is something I do for fun, but I've also tried to apply my own way. I've tried various different methods to stand out from the nostalgia critic. Yes, I still have my own intro. If you watch the reviews, I go, "Hello, I'm Cinematic Critic, fresh off from seeing," and then the movie name. But that's really the only thing that I've copied from Nostalgia Critic. I got my own way of doing things. I got my way of giving what I target to do now, and I've been working with this over the past year. I know my last review was actually of Rock Dog, like a year ago. When I've been practicing over the last couple of years, and really this year, giving my overall thoughts of the movie first, going into the non-spoiler section of the plot, that's usually Act 1 and a portion of Act 2, going into the spoiler section where I'll usually have a hood or a hat, and I will talk about the spoiler section, then putting the spoiler hood back down and giving my final thoughts on the film. So when I come back to YouTube, what I will actually say is, hoods up, spoiler hood. Mute your thing if you don't want spoilers and just skip ahead to the end of the video. And when you see the spoiler hood come down, turn your volume back up for my final thoughts on the film. I also have tried giving my final thoughts first and then doing the spoilers, and that's really not very successful. I feel more confident than I've ever been that my reviews are getting better. They are. They are. I think they are. Things still happen. There are still my bad reviews. I'll admit that, which is something that Nostalgia Critic won't. He hasn't said anything about his reviews. Same thing about Change the Channel. They really haven't said anything about the Change the Channel movement, or if they have, it's been like a denial or something. It's like, I feel like Doug isn't taking responsibility for the Change the Channel or for a bad review. If someone says my review is bad, I'm going to look at the review and see what I did wrong. And no, if you go and you look at Facebook, you'll see that people complain about my teeth. That's a medical issue. It's because of the medicine I take. Nothing's going to happen about that. Sorry about that, I know that was disappointing. I did an Angry Birds 2 review where my top comment was multiple people saying, "Ew, your teeth." Okay, I can't do anything about that, okay? That's not a valid concern. That's something I've got to handle on my own. It's fortunately something I probably will never be able to get rid of, these slightly yellow teeth, because it's just the medicine I take. It's either have slightly yellow teeth or have seizures and not be able to live my daily life. So let's put that one complaint aside. But there would be times like, "What are you talking about?" where I would watch the review back and say, "What am I talking about?" And I'm more than happy, as I have done time to time, to redo a review. I don't have a high production budget, or any production budget, like a lot of these YouTubers. This is something I do for fun, and while I would love for it to become something big someday, right now it's not something that I can, I can't even promote it right now because I don't have enough money to even promote Cinematic Critic. Hope to again someday. And for all of you who are going to start watching Cinematic Critic, I'm coming back to YouTube because I'm actually hoping to amass more of a fan base here on Cinematic Critic, on the YouTube channel. because I think I might actually have a better shot of getting a fan base on YouTube than I do on Facebook Live. I've been using Facebook Live exclusively for a long time now. So I'm actually going to do something I haven't done before, and that's I'm going to stop using Facebook Live, and I'm going to come back to YouTube for a while. See if I can get more of a success here. But to finish my thoughts on Nostalgia Critics The Wall, I think this is interesting because I'm actually going to recommend you go watch it. But just to see, you don't even have to watch the full thing. It's a 40-minute long video. But go to it, skip around, and see what the Nostalgia Critic has, well, become. Because that's him now. He's changed. And where I, for my opinion, feel I have changed for the better, and there was certainly a time where where Nostalgia Critic changed for the better, where he changed for the better when he got a higher production budget. I feel like he's kind of let it go to his head. Something I hope that I never do. Mailman. That's why. My dog is barking. Well, this has gone on long enough anyway. As I said, CinematicCritic will be returning to YouTube, starting with the Addams Family and Gemini Man. Is Gemini Man this week or next week? Either way, I know that's this month, and I know that Addams Family is this Friday. So you'll be seeing this review come up. A review. Well, this review is coming up in a couple minutes. You'll be seeing the review of the first CinematicCritic review back on YouTube, starting on this Friday. Hopefully, I get a bigger following. I know it's not going to be as big as Nostalgia Critics, but if you look at Nostalgia Critic video, just to finish the thought on that, wow, there's a very large dislike, and it's actually one of his least watched videos. At least when I watched it. Usually there'd be millions of views. We had like 200,000. And many comments said that the only good part was Fenna. And I would really I'll say it one more time. Go to the Fenna channel, Fenneh. Watch Satellite City if you're an adult or a teen, an older teen. But that's all I got to say about that. I could actually do a reaction video. I do still have the streaming software on my computer. I could do a reaction video of Nostalgia Critics The Wall. I might just do that. I've done it on Beast Bureau Z before, but that's all for now.